Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngozi. Let's quickly look at the top stories making the headlines.
Brought to you by
how to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Uganda announces final investment decision on oil and gas. MPs and others appeal for continued dialogue following Katuna border reopening. While Zambian National Assembly members visit Uganda, meet Prime Minister Robina Nabanja. And Gohoto, Lwakataka and Aliro rewarded for excellent sports displays in January.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hello once again, Elizabeth Nakakoni joins us on sign language. Let's dig into it. The long-awaited announcement of the final investment decision for Uganda's oil and gas projects has been made today with the signing of a memorandum of understanding between Uganda and oil and gas joint partners in Kampala. This high-profile event was graced by Ugandan and Tanzanian dignitaries along with representatives of the investing companies Total Energies and Sinok. Wadulo McArnold has more.
As Uganda crosses into the contracting phase of its oil and gas projects, the East African crude oil pipeline is showing more potential to serve oil and gas initiatives in the entire East African region.
I think our Tanzanian brothers are also looking for petroleum in the Lake Eyasi area or something like that. I heard something like that. There's also likely to be petroleum in Burundi. So this East African crude pipeline may end up being a nucleus for the East African crude effort.
Final investment decision means that all preparations for the production phase by implementing stakeholders have been made, which include call for tenders, placing of contracts, establishing infrastructure, environmental and social impact assessments, among others.
This is the culmination of the hard work and investment that has been made by both the governments, the oil companies, private sector, and the host communities.
Government of Uganda has put optimal focus on local content to spur domestic growth, which was evidenced by the passing of the local content policy in 2018.
So we need to be prepared to partake of the chances that the industry is bringing. Obviously, Uganda's tax base will expand. Tanzania's tax base will equally expand.
The need to meet global demand for oil is pushing Total and Sinok to meet the agreed local targets.
We need to meet the world's demand for oil. The current spike in global oil price demonstrates that the lack of investment in this sector could have some consequences for customers. We need to launch new developments like the one we are launching today.
On 11th April 2021, Uganda and Tanzania signed a shareholders agreement that was to see both states partner in exporting crude oil to the global market.
We recall that together with Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, you directed the parties involved to quickly finalize pending matters for the formation of the EACOP company and attainment of the final investment decision for the EACOP project. We are now pleased to see that the parties to the EACOP project have complied with that directive.
The resources to be developed in the Albertine Graben encompass the Tilenga project operated by Total Energies with 56.6% and the Kingfisher project operated by Sinok with 28.33%, both in a joint venture partnership with UNOC. Wadulo McArnold, UBC News.
And a delegation from the National Assembly of Zambia is in Uganda on a benchmarking visit. While in the country, the delegation is also scheduled to meet with other officials from line ministries, departments and agencies of government. Today they met with the Prime Minister and leader of business, government business in Parliament, Rhoda Ngozi.
Uganda and Zambia have historical and political ties dating back in the 1970s. Zambia has been home to many Ugandans, particularly freedom fighters and politicians. Like Uganda, Zambia practices democratic governance, and last year they held general elections, which ushered in a new government. It's against the background that a delegation of the National Assembly of Zambia is visiting Uganda to benchmark parliamentary best practices. The Prime Minister, Rhoda Ngozi, welcomed the delegation to Uganda.
I take this opportunity to congratulate you, Right Honourable Speaker and colleagues, for completing a peaceful and democratic election cycle last year. We were told that you were in elections. I congratulate you on that, respective of my respect. So, of course, our Ugandan Parliament team is also about 1 year in the new term.
She gave them highlights on the mandate of the Office of the Prime Minister and leader of government business in Parliament.
Honourable members, I want to share with you a brief description of the mandate and the work of the Prime Minister in Uganda as it relates to Parliament business. The Office of Prime Minister is established in our Constitution under Article 108A, whereby a Prime Minister doubles as a leader of government business in Parliament, and of course responsible for coordination and implementation of government policies across ministries, departments and agencies. The Prime Minister is a member of Cabinet, that I mean executive, and a member of the Parliamentary Commission. The Parliamentary Commission is a governing body of Parliament, and of course Cabinet is a governing body of the executive, because Parliament is headed by the Speaker and the executive is headed by the President, deputized by the Vice President.
The lead of delegation, Malungu Chisangano, who is also the first Deputy Speaker, National Assembly of Zambia, appreciated the cordial relationship existing between the two countries. She said they are in Uganda to compare notes with their Ugandan counterparts and to copy best parliamentary practices. The meeting was also attended by the second Deputy Prime Minister, Moses Ali, Minister for General Duties, Kasule Lumumba, among other ministers in the Office of the Prime Minister, Shaidat Nasaku, UBC News.
Parliament has tasked the executive arm of government to expedite the process of resolving the conflicts between Madi and Asholi communities over Apa land. The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Anita Monk, wants Cabinet to expeditiously resolve the Apa land conflict to prevent continuous bloodshed. Now, this was during the Tuesday afternoon parliamentary sitting that saw Kailak North MP Anthony Okol raise the matter as one of national concern.
On the 18th of January 2022, a group of people attacked the people of Apa.
This concern results from Apa land-related clashes of 18th and 19th January 2022 that saw some innocent people killed and others seriously injured. Both MPs from Acholi and Madi have expressed disappointment over delayed handling of the matter.
It is unfortunate that the people who are attacked for the last 4 days, they are being witch hunted, arrested from their homes in the different places where they are, and they are targeting people with big lands and those who are influential or in leadership position in the village.
Government should tell us when exactly it is going to resolve this matter. And we are ready to receive any response, whether in our support or not.
Whereas some suggest another meeting with the head of state. Others have reservations.
And that meeting was supposed to have taken place in December to conclusively and decisively resolve the matter of our land conflict. Unfortunately, possibly because of the tight schedules of the president to date, that meeting has not taken place.
When the president called us, the two leaders from Madi and from Acholi sub-regions or Western Nile sub-regions, for us we are ready to sit and get a report from the president or any declaration, whether on our side or not.
We met the president, Yoweri Museveni, 9 times on our issues. 9 times. And when you are before the president, you leave when you are fully convinced.
All they want is to have the matter resolved, something Deputy Speaker Anita Among is in support of.
We are asking for the truth, and we are asking government to do its work to protect the citizens.
I really want us to resolve that as a house, we have failed to handle the APA issue. Let Cabinet handle the issue of APA.
In fact, so many committees were set, and all those committees came with their recommendations. But after recommending, the final person to give in his input is the president.
Government has affirmed commitment to have the matter resolved.
This matter has been handled at the highest level of leadership of this country. And as I said, give us 1 week, we'll be able to come and brief this House our final direction about this matter.
How far this will go in resolving conflicts between the Acholi and Madi communities in northern Uganda over upper land is a question whose answer only time will provide. Henry Okurut, UBC.
And Uganda People's Defense Forces UPDF has cleaned communities around the Elgon region in commemoration of the 41st Tarehe Sita anniversary celebrations and Defense Forces Week. Let's take a look.
The UPDF leader of the coordination and mobilization team from Mbale district, Charles Kamia, commended residents of Bufumbo sub-county for their close association with UPDF that was evidenced by the sweeping of streets, unblocking trenches and slashing bushes around Jema Town Council. He reminded them that the UPDF's origin is deeply rooted in the Elgon region. For people like Nabudere, Natolo, Masaba, Mauve Mukwana, Chisolo Nakanya, all deceased, and Honorable Magode Ikuya, who formed the nucleus of the people's struggle that had its base in the Elgon region, and all later joined President Yoweri Museveni to restore peace and security.
Cooperation has been so high, especially with the local leaders. The local leaders are so positive. They like the government. They embrace government programs. Actually, the RDC has been very supportive. The chairman, LOC3s, have been so supportive. The local town council mayors have also been supportive in mobilizing the people, to carry out such activities together.
He added that UPDF is a people's army, one that affects peace, democracy, freedom and socio-economic transformation on communities based on its tested discipline and professionalism. The LC3 chairperson for Bufumbo sub-county, Ali Muniro Mugamba, applauded UPDF for maintaining discipline and securing Uganda.
We are very happy with the work they are doing as UPDF, People's Army, and we expect that the community outside there always embrace the activities UPDF is doing.
The UPDF Director of Civil Military Cooperation at General Headquarters in Bombo, Major John Biarugaba, while cleaning Nakaloke Town Council Headquarters in Mbale City, noted that the clean-up experience was symbolic and aimed at giving back to the population in recognition of their contribution towards the success of people's struggle.
So we are not doing the cleaning because the city is dirty. No, it's symbolic. We want to show the people that as they are doing the cleaning most of the time, today we've dedicated the day to do the cleaning with them.
And now the Uganda Women Parliamentary Association, in partnership with civil society organizations, have called upon government to take immediate action on all schools that have continued to deny pregnant and breastfeeding girls access to class. Executive Director Joy for Children Moses Ntenga says denying girls access to girls while letting their culprits walk with their heads high is a total violation of their right to education.
Disappointed in the various stakeholders, including religious leaders.
Early this year, government resolved to reopen education institutions following a 2-year closure due to COVID-19 pandemic. The reopening of schools happened at a most challenging time when a number of school-going girls had already fallen victims of teenage pregnancies. Accordingly, by the time of reopening, districts like Wakiso, Kampala, Kasese, Kamuli and Oyam by early 2022 had already topped on the list of teenage pregnancies in the country.
Some of the districts that recorded the highest number of teenage pregnancies were Wakiso with 10,439, followed by Kampala with 8,460 cases.
Although government gave a directive to education institutions to allow all affected girls to further their education irrespective of the status quo, this did not go well, especially with some factions.
The assertion that these girls will be bad examples is in total disregard of the fact that these girls are survivors of sexual violence, and this promotes victim blaming instead of supporting them to seek justice.
According to them, laxity in some laws and directives is the reason culprits are walking scot-free while the victims suffer the consequences.
Most are not protected socially and legally, leading to impunity and repeated offenses.
They now call upon government to put to task all education institutions to set up facilities that will aid the affected girls to keep in school rather than push them away. Several reports conducted on teenage pregnancies and marriages show that the perpetrators of these actions were mainly relatives to the victims or people known to the family.
To make the environment safer for these teenage girls who are pregnant. If you fail to do that, then we are going to be faced with the situation where many girls will not be willing to even come out and say we are experiencing abuse.
Furthermore, there is a call to have culprits held accountable and also denied chance to further their education, just like the victims. Relevant laws applied or amended where need be, and continued protection of rights of victims.
One of the demands we have today is for these people not to just be allowed in school, but
it's worth noting that teenage pregnancies drastically increased by 25% as at January 2022, compared to 14% as at January 2021. Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
And the escalating prevalence of early pregnancy and adolescent motherhood, which stands at 28% in the district of Nebi, West Nile sub-region, has prompted a mentoring and empowerment program for young women, MEMPRO, to organize an advocacy walk to sensitize communities on the value of keeping a girl child in school.
The Nebi District Woman Member of Parliament, Agnes Asibu, was the chief walk. She applauded MEMPRO Uganda for supporting a girl child education in the region. According to Nebi District Community Development Officer Okiria Joseph Peter, neglect by parents, sexual abuse, cultural beliefs that promote early marriage are the major contributors.
And there are very many factors. You find that these traditional norms and practices which encourage, for example, teenage pregnancy, dowry taking, traditional dances at night.
Nebi District has the highest number of teen pregnancies and child mothers registered between October and December 2021, with over 9,000 cases. The situation has been worsened by poor cultural and religious beliefs in the district that ignore defilement. The district prevalence stands at 28%, much higher
to the national level of 25%. According to the acting district health officer Nebi, Dr. Justin Okwairoth, 750 visited antenatal care facilities and over 900 child mothers' deliveries. 17% were under cesarean, which is high.
Cesarean section, one of the indications is obstructed labor, which is more common in young girls because the pelvis is inadequate and the babies cannot pass through, the labor get complicated and the mothers have to be operated.
The director of programs MEMPRO Uganda, Sarah Nakame, says the research attributes this to inadequate education, low socio-economic status, cultural beliefs, and parent neglect, among others.
Let's create a platform for them to be in school, for them to enjoy the right of education, and for them to be better people for themselves, but also for the nation.
As per the Intervention, Mentoring and Empowerment Program for Young Women, MEMPRO organized advocacy work to encourage the community embrace girl-child education and counseling of young girls to make right choices while in school.
So we thought that it's very important that we mobilize our stakeholders, we mobilize the children, we mobilize the parents, the leaders together to do this advocacy work, so that we encourage many parents to return their children to school.
Area woman Member of Parliament, Nebi District, Agnes Asibu, says many defilement cases remain unreported in some communities, which resulted into home courts.
Anybody who is handling such cases and yet the law does not allow them to handle should be dealt with, as simple as that. And sometimes we find even the parents compromising so that they handle it locally.
However, Emokol Onyango, the deputy RDC, says measures have been intensified with stakeholders to reduce the escalation of the cases.
We are trying to move in their schools and in communities, sensitizing the parents. In case we find a child who is supposed to go to school and you, the parent, you are holding that child at home, we shall arrest you and come and make a statement. Why? Why are you keeping this child at home yet the school is open and we have UPE schools?
MEMPRO Uganda calls for collective efforts from stakeholders at all levels to ultimately empower the girl-child education to diminish teenage pregnancies. Bella Masangano and Bwaita Robert, UBC News.
Government has called upon district leaders to carefully guide their communities on which areas to invest in order to avoid losses. This was a message from President Yoweri Museveni delivered by Uganda's ambassador to South Africa, Barbara Nekesa Owundo, during the send-off of Were Patrick Dakule, a former district chairperson and highest-ranking entrepreneur in Busia district.
Were Patrick Dakule, who served as the district chairperson Busia district from the year 2006 to 2011, and also known for being the first entrepreneurship chairperson Busia district, has gone to be with the Lord. During his send-off, the President of Uganda, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who was represented by Nekesa Owundo, called upon district leaders to properly guide people in profitable businesses.
We as leaders from Busia, we need to study our areas. Areas that are bordering the lake, what can these people do? If you're advising the people of Majani, those at the lake, what should be those activities that they can venture into?
The NRM Secretariat Chairperson, Richard Todong, acknowledged the great entrepreneurship skills of the late to the district. Todong calls upon people to learn from his investments and carry out their own businesses.
He owned a chain of hotels that included Equator, Sangalo, Majangi Resort Beach, and Hanahange. He was also a model farmer who earned handsome household income from all those initiatives.
District leaders say Dakule is one man who fought to see his home area develop through his investments in the different sectors, which include hotel and tourism, agriculture, education, among others.
But for him, he made a choice, came and invested here. So we look at him as a very big and selfless entrepreneur.
He was a politician, and when he served his seat as LOC5, there was no corruption in the district. councillors were cooperative with the LOC5.
However, district leaders are also lobbying for the district to be made a gold city. Leaders say with the discovery of gold in the district, a number of investors are expected to come to the district.
See what we need to put in place. If it's gold, let it be mined and improved from here. The beneficiation should happen here. If they are gold ornaments, let's make them here and sell to people at affordable prices. So this is the only way I think we can grow both the areas, the coastal areas, and also the...
Resident District Commissioner Busia District John Rex Achila cautioned the district leaders to be security cautious when it comes to gold mining.
There is a lot of environmental degradation which is taking place. This is a security concern because most of the structures within the municipality are falling. People are digging holes everywhere. They are digging holes in order to get to access the gold. And
I am Mary Namkose in Busia District.
Everyone deserves more, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more Senki points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at agent vacation. Get 150 Senki points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More Senki points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your Senki points, dial *141#. Everywhere you go, MTN.
For an event as big as the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, you can't afford to miss out. So where do you go when you want to have a full AFCON 2021 experience? You go where everybody goes. When you're looking for the vibe, you go straight to the source. So if you want to have it all, go all out for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations with GoTV. Catch all 52 must-watch games live on SuperSport on GoTV. GoTV, love it.
Start the year off with My Airtel 4G smartphone. You get to enjoy free 1 GB data valid for a month and 100% bonus data every month for 3 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. This includes free data spread over 3 months worth 86,500 Uganda shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 Uganda shillings only. Visit the nearest Airtel shop and get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Welcome back. You are still watching News Tonight. Now, the reopening of Katuna boda has been widely welcomed by a section of members of the public, especially from the Ugandan side, with many terming it as a brotherly gesture. It should be recalled that on the 31st of January, on Monday, the Rwandan government reopened its Katuna border after nearly 3 years of closure.
On Monday, 31st January 2022, operations at Katuna one-stop border center between Uganda and Rwanda were reactivated after 3 years of suspension.
Our going to Rwanda this morning was specifically to work out modalities on how we are going to clear cargo.
Prior to the reopening on Saturday, the Rwandan authorities decided to carry away the barricades, a signal of the imminent reopening.
As you are seeing, the Rwandan government is removing barricades. I believe they are also preparing for the opening of the border on Monday.
This followed a closed-door meeting convened at the center and attended by parties from either side.
I want to thank the incoming peacemaker, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. He's a lion because he has been leading this to make sure that Uganda-Rwanda borders, we have peace and harmony.
Local residents from either side couldn't hold their excitement as barricades were carried away. However, many still carry memories of the past experience, especially when the two countries have had frosty relationships.
Crossing to Rwanda was very, very, very dangerous. You have heard of this. You could not cross to Rwanda. People would fear for their lives.
During the send-off ceremonies for the late Governor Bank of Uganda in Kabalera Sunday, President Paul Kagame sent his condolence message through Dr. Donald Kaberuka, former president of the African Development Bank Group, who happened to have been the first Rwandan citizen to cross to Uganda from Rwanda through the Katuna border.
My presence here as an envoy of my president, as I said, is a sign of the desire of the people, the two countries, to live together in harmony and peace.
Kaberuka reiterated Rwanda's commitment to restore the lost friendship between the two countries.
We know all that in recent times there have been some challenges, but we also know that significant efforts by our two leaders are underway to resolve those issues because they are resolvable. The people of Rwanda, people of Kabale, Kigezi, Uganda, we're brothers, and we have the ability to work together to resolve those problems so that we can go on with developing our two great countries.
The Ugandan government is equally aiming at cementing the relationship.
Indeed, we are looking for the accelerated resumption of normal relations between the two brotherly countries.
With the border now reopened, many are challenging the two governments to walk the talk.
We want to work with the people of Rwanda. We want to do business with them as usual. We want to hear that there is peace and harmony between Rwanda and Uganda.
The Monday resumption of operations at Katuna border is a much-awaited gesture from the two governments, as many now refer to it as a rebirth of the lost relationship. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Opposition National Unity Platform NUP party officials have advised government to engage with the informal sector on issues of developing the city rather than applying force to get them off the streets of Kampala. This was addressed by the party spokesperson Joel Senyonyi during a meeting with some leaders from the informal sector at the party headquarters in Kamocha.
Opposition National Unity Platform Party has engaged with some leaders from the informal sector to discuss issues concerning their dismissal from the city. The boda sector that has been given 6 months to organize itself, and hawkers who are no longer operating in the city voiced out their concerns to the party.
Okuvira ddala emabega eriyo n'obudde obwe bazze bateekawo ffe boda kafyo waffe akola simanyi lwaki. Ebirala byonna tebikola osobola okugenda ku kkubo ng'emmotoka zitambula luli ssaawa 6 mmeka naye nga boda buli wootuuka baba bagitulugunya.
Leero kati oba nziyite ziti ezo bazisayininga dda omulamuzi yasayininga dda wabula we bakukwata ne bakutwala ku site olo bajjuza mbujjuza linnya lyo na nnaku za mwezi.
Tusangangako obuweereza bwonna olaba omukungu ng'avudde mu gavumenti ajje n'agamba abavubuka baamu nomukola mutyo.
Limited space to accommodate all hawkers in available markets and the high rental costs were key issues highlighted.
Omuntu alina capital wakasenya dazini emu ya 10 ezo 5 n'omugamba okigenda mu katale bannaffe bagamba
capital ina ya 12 capital ina ya mitwalo 3 gwe oli mu munyigirizo omugamba nti va wano ogende mu katale oba ogende mu dduuka asasule mitwalo 5 agenda gajjawa.
National Unity Platform spokesperson Joel Senyonyi calls for dialogue between KCCA and the informal sector to chart a way forward.
You cannot build a better city without the people. You cannot build a better country without the people. Otherwise, who is that better, smart city, smart country going to serve if you have alienated the people? It doesn't.
So for me, it is just to emphasize that we are still standing with the common people.
These are also set to meet with the Minister for Kampala and the Executive Director of KCCA on the 5th of this month To engage more on this matter, Lydia Chomkama, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Learners with hearing impairment are finding their footing back to learning, given that most of them were not able to study from home during school closure. As we are told in the following story, a number of the learners had forgotten a lot of schoolwork, including sign language.
Teachers at Uganda School for the Deaf in Tinda are working hard to ensure that pupils fit back to the school environment after a long period of school closure. Given the nature of these learners, they did not have a chance to study, unlike their fellow normal children.
They are catching up. Of course, it is like you are starting building something. The time they came back, some of them had already forgotten the signing, even signing their name. So the first week, it was an interaction week to bring them back to school because they were at home now. So we started slowly. The second week, we went to class. We started bringing them back at discussion groups so that they understand that they are at school now. So by now, as I talk, they are ready. They are now at school, not really at home.
The Ministry of Education and Sports introduced the abridged curriculum to be used in schools. However, some schools have not received it and are still using the old one.
We are talking about the abridged curriculum. We have not seen it physically. I have not received any copy. We are just seeing it on WhatsApp, but I have not received any copy.
The pupils are excited after returning to class and that they are eager to learn.
I felt I was really so interested in coming back to school after staying at home for a long time. Here I'm seriously learning. I feel happy to come back to school because I know at school here I read and I understand well.
Besides those with hearing impairment, there are other learners with educational special needs.
They are going to find well-equipped SNE schools because all these were sent to 120 SNE schools in the country. Now, these SNE schools, some of them are combined, integrated with the normal system, but others are uniquely special needs education facilities.
Children with hearing impairment need more support from teachers in order to fully cope with classwork, as they need special attention. Miriam Nwamcha and Sandra Alenaitwe, UBC.
Let's take a quick break. With that, we'll return with more details. This is News Tonight.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Select option 2, school pay. Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Buganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Everyone deserves more, which is why MTN Momo is giving you more Senki points on your MTN Momo withdrawals at Agent Vacation. Get 150 Senki points for every 1,000 shillings spent in withdrawal fees. More Senki points means you get more free minutes, more free MBs, more free SMSs, and more free Momo Pay shopping. To use your thank you points, dial *141#.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. Now in business news, Office of the Resident District Commissioner, Rubaga Division, is to start enforcement of set standards for an organized boda industry in Kampala City. During an engagement with the riders at Busega roundabouts, the Deputy RCC, Rubaga Anderson Borora, said they have been given an ultimatum of 7 days to put back their motorcycles in the right formation or risk arrest.
There has been public outcry that boda riders no longer follow traffic rules and do not care about other road users. Deputy RCC Rubaga Anderson Borora says there have been 383 cases of accidents with 75 deaths in the last 1 week, which have been attributed to indiscipline on the road. Now they have embarked on engagements with boda riders to lay strategies for orderly operation in the city.
People kill themselves, they steal from themselves, they are doing a lot of things amongst themselves, and it has now been acceptable that to steal a motorcycle is a normal thing, that to kill a rider is a normal thing.
Those who tampered with their motorcycles have been given 7 days to put them right, while emphasis has been put on original motorcycles' log cards as evidence of ownership.
Some have tampered with the number plates. You can't see them at any distance. Some have tampered with the side mirrors for reasons we don't know.
Some riders we interacted with said this move of chasing them out of the city centre will not work, and moving with original motorcycle log cards exposes them to robbers.
Ongamba okutambula n'ebyogera ku pikikaadi otumye babbi ku jibba agenda kusanga n'ebijoogerako wagenda nabyo kireza si kyabanja.
Bakulembeza kino ekya kaadi naye bo balina ekirala kye balwanyisa emabega kyakujja pikipiki mu Kampala naye ate nga bo bennyini balinga abeerwanyisa.
They appeal to government to first sort out all the issues pertaining to streamlining of boda industry before finally engaging them.
Abaluli bagamba number plate. Number epiji ino kuba ne number 2. Ekyo ne bakivaako dakiika emu. Bagamba piji buli muntu erina kubanga eri mmanyago piji ezimu za loan.
This communication from the division follows an ultimatum given by the Ministry of Transport to all riders in Kampala to organize themselves within the next 6 months, which most of them concur with. I'm Navka Farida and Daniel Lugemwa in Kampala.
An eviction of street vendors from Kampala streets has given hope of making more profits to traders operating in urban markets. Traders in Usafi market are optimistic that the move will boost trade within the market, which has stunted. I beg your pardon. The move will boost trade in the market, which has had a stunted growth since its establishment. So far, the number of traders at Usafi is progressively improving, especially those from the streets.
Early this year, Kampala Capital City Authority launched operations of evicting traders operating on Kampala streets in order to decongest the city. This is one of the strategies to achieve a clean city.
Because I don't think anybody serious can support someone sitting in the road and selling.
Ndikizogenda mu butale mwe tugenda naye ogenda okutuukayo ng'entegeka yako entegeka gye bakatagese nga tekola ki tesaanidde kati tulina akatale kana akebusego okalaba kakati lengera gye kali otunulye n'ekkubo gye liri ddala muntu agenda kuva waneeno ajja eri mu katale nti agenda gula lwaki tagenda mu tawuni.
These are supposed to occupy existing markets within and in outskirts of the capital. We interested ourselves to find out whether evicted traders heeded to the advice. One of the biggest modern markets in Kampala metropolitan is Busega Market, which up to now is not yet commissioned, leaving questions of where these traders will be pushed.
Tuli bubi. Abantu b'Obusega batugoba ku makubo naye already akatale sikagule.
Those who have left Kampala streets are now operating along some major highways, thereby putting their lives at risk of being knocked by speeding vehicles.
Renti olusasula emitwalo 3. Emali gy'olina emitwalo 5. Oba okola dda mu mabega oba okola kugenda mu maaso.
Usafi Market, located in the central business district, is starting to attract occupants after a long time of being in denial.
Naye singa eri bano abanyweza nga babagobayo nga bamanyi nti balina okukolera wano ne bakasitoma bajja kujja.
Traders in this market have challenges which they believe, once addressed, the market can attract customers to meet traders' expectations. Despite being off the streets, some traders are addicted to the habit.
Ngero la abayirimu era kali era olweggulo laba fuluma ali ku lubalaza kitegeera nga bakyalimu era kali akasaayi akabutatula ku mudala gwe baba bakoze ekigwa baba muwadde.
In the Smart City campaign, Kampala Capital City Authority intends to regulate businesses in the central business district. This strategy targets transport sector, markets and arcades management. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC News.
And vendors in the new multi-billion Arua modern market are worried about the cracks that have developed in the market building barely 1 week of the vendors occupying the facility. Vendors are now expressing concerns about safety of their lives, with fears of the building collapsing on them in the event of an earthquake. Arua City political leadership, Resident City Commissioner and Arua Central Division legislator visited the market and demanded for an explanation from the contractor over suspected shoddy works.
The multi-billion government-funded market was constructed by Sadim Al Kuwait Company in a joint venture with the DOT Services and Jawada Consults as the overseeing consultancy firm. Fears have ensued vendors in the newly built Arua main market as the building has many visible cracks on the wall. According to Achan Rita and many other vendors, the cracks are posing risks to lives of the people in the market, which government officials need to look into urgently.
Like for us who have been here, we are now worried. So we are asking the authority who are responsible to look into this matter.
As you have seen from up and down, especially if there's an earthquake happens, mean that our lives are in danger.
After receiving a tip-off on the shoddy works barely a week after the vendors occupied the facility, the resident city commissioner of Arua City, Alice Akelo Opio, and the Arua City Division legislature, Jackson Atima, rushed to the market to examine the cracks on the newly constructed market facility. The visiting delegation described the works as possibilities of shoddy work having been done.
There's a serious crack. Actually, not only one crack, there are so many cracks here, right from the ground up to the upstairs. This has sent a serious message to us as leaders that shoddy work must have taken place here. Shoddy work has been done here. So we are going to report this to the necessary authorities to have immediate action taken on this.
People should not have entered when cracks are there. And remember when the relocation process started, I'd gone for cross-border meeting for 3 days. I was not here.
When UBC contacted the executive director of Jawada Consults Limited, engineer Joel Aita, over the matter, he said the cracks are a result of minor mistake by the contractor, which can easily be corrected.
Big buildings, we have what we call expansion joints. During the day when the temperature is very hot, the building expands. And when it is cold at night, the building contracts. So that movement of the building, if you don't manage it right from design and construction, you find the building will crack. So to avoid that, we now create artificial cracks. We now create what we call expansion joint. So that market has 6 expansion joints. The contractor painted those expansion joints. Now, he filled them with styrofoam. Unfortunately, when he was painting, he also painted the styrofoam. So those parts you see which came with the crack along the expansion joint is actually the painting. I think we'll look at it to see that he opens them up. There is no need to worry about this project.
The 34.9 billion shillings Arua market was constructed by the government of Uganda and the Markets and Agriculture Trade Improvement Project with a loan from African Development Bank. After 3 years of waiting, vendors were shifted to occupy the new market on Monday last week ahead of the official commissioning, which is still at large.
The Somali Police Force, SPF, in close collaboration with the police component of the African Union Mission in Somalia, AMISOM, have secured the 8th election of 8 members of parliament, including the youngest, 25-year-old Mohammed Abdi Mohammed, in the ongoing parliamentary elections in southwest state of Somalia. The Somali Police Force, SPF, and AMISOM are part of the National Election Security Force Task Force, which is the highest security body tasked with securing Somalia's ongoing national electoral process together with Somali security agencies. Now, the task force is chaired by the SPF and supported by AMISOM Police.
Of this very election, we took the SPF through a lot of election security tips. We taught them a lot of things about how to handle election security. And throughout the exercise, throughout all the elections, they've demonstrated or they've shown to us that what we've taught them, they've really learned.
And now in the world of sports, rugby player Innocent Gwokto, rally driver Ponciano Lwakataka, and Wakiso Giants football club's Moses Aliro have won the respective 40 Bet Real Star Awards for January.
The much-acclaimed 40-Bet Real Star Sports Awards ceremony has been hosted at Route 256 in Lugogo, a Uganda capital Kampala suburb. This award is a reserve for the best players from the previous month, with organizers usually selecting from a few sports disciplines. For this January 2022 awards ceremony, organizers picked rugby, motor rally and football. Ultimately, Heathens Rugby Club player Innocent Gwokto, rally driver Ponciano Lwakataka and Wakiso Giants winger Moses Aliro beat their colleagues. This 40-Bet Real Star Award is achieved in collaboration with Jude Color Solutions and is a brainchild of a sports scribe, Isaac Mokasa.
Football, also it was a good sign to see the so-called small clubs producing the best performers of January, because I talk about a club like Gaddafi, which had Sibira Yunis, was one of the contenders, and also this Aliro plays for Wakiso. So that the so-called small teams in the league, but again they're producing best performers. So it was an indication that if this big club just slip down, guys are ready to take them over. Then for rugby, they have been having their league going on. So we have a team which went and inspired these guys, how they have been performing. That's why we came up with the Heathens performer. Remember, they are top of the log as we speak now.
Mokasa promises to keep growing the stature of the award till it gains global status. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
And a fixture between Vipers Sports Club and Sports Club Villa can never be underrated. Villa with pedigree, Vipers with form. Expect an entertaining game. Vipers host Villa at St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende this Wednesday, a game that had been postponed to allow players feature for the national team. The other game lined up on the day, Bright Stars hosts URAFC at Kavumba Recreational Grounds. Vipers held its last training session, and here are the reactions.
Support to receive again our players, and I trust too much my players because every time we give good feedback inside the field, and we prepare very well this game. Okay, during friendly games, tactical training, and I'm very happy. And in special, I want to talk about the Carissa. Carissa is a smart player, tactical player, because every time movie, and give you option between lines. About this, I think it's very important.
The Uganda Olympic Committee's Sport for Development Commission has rolled off the second edition of the Healthy at Home campaign. The campaign, supported by the Olympic Solidarity, aims at keeping people healthy during this period as the fight against total elimination of COVID-19 continues.
During the various COVID-19 waves, government and health experts advised physical exercise to help provide immunity. People indeed embraced physical exercise, with many providing prophecy of its effectiveness in reducing chances of contracting COVID-19. But now, with the economy fully reopened and many lacking time and space to exercise, Uganda Olympic Committee has provided solutions.
When you get time, whether in the morning before you go to do your shower, you can take some 10 minutes and you do the physical exercise. So these are the exercises you can do. Okay, you start with walking, then you do cross knee raises, and then you do some push-ups, and then back stretch, then apart together, the one we commonly do in nursery and primary.
It's the second time such is happening during this COVID-19 pandemic period, and is coordinated by the Uganda Olympic Committee Sport and Development Commission.
These are simple exercises, but if you want to benefit, the most important thing is that you will have to do them in sets. You know, after the first round, you rest a little, you go second round, maybe about 3 sets, then you find you are benefiting. And also, with this exercise, to encourage us Ugandan citizens to be healthy, we also give guides about the type of food you should eat, okay, and how often to eat them, and then it's like that you really don't get overweight. Okay, the essence is you have to keep fit, keep healthy, and then eat well.
Various literatures will be provided both on social media and mainstream media to enable all Ugandans get the guide on how to be healthy at home. John Barnes, Centum, reporting.
Well, that does it for News Tonight. But let's take a look at the headlines once more.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Uganda announces final investment decision on oil and gas. MPs and others appeal for continued dialogue following Katuna boda reopening. Zambia National Assembly members visit Uganda, meet Prime Minister Robina Nabanja. And in sports, Gwakhoto Lwakataka and Aliro rewarded for excellent sports displays in January.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Well, that does it for News Tonight. Thank you for sticking with us. Elizabeth Nakakoni on Sign Language. I am Rhoda Ngozi. Have yourselves a good night.